Okay, what is this one? This is 2015 bank records. Okay, so Wilcox Ranch Property Owners Association. Okay, there's some checks written here. Got one check to this William guy. I think that's the equipment operator. 300. No reference to what it goes for 300. And then you got one to the former Secretary Treasurer for 1580, 1,580. No accounting, you know, and so okay, that's part of that. That's the only thing that was done. What month is that? 4/30/15. Okay, then there's what's this here? This is a representation. The first sentence in the title, if there's $100 assessment on somebody's title, that's it to it. I don't know what that is. There's a notary on it. Okay. Here. Wow. Okay. This is something on Millennium Property, Northern Nevada. Okay. Notice of delinquent assessments. Certified mail, return receipt. This is Millennium Properties. This is
What's the date?
it's let's see here. March 11th, 2014. Okay, so obviously they were aware the president and treasurer got their names on this. This is please remit. We'll have to enforce the provisions of Article 6, which is the collection policy on the Articles of Incorporation of Wilcox Ranch. So this is all certified mail. Like I said, it says to enforce the provisions. Okay, and they had a $540 property, Millennium Properties, Northern Nevada, late charges and all this. Some email communications concerning all this.
So they were representing that they had the right, that you had no choice when they assessed you fees on there. That's their policy.
Well, yeah. The thing that is Millennium Properties knew the validity of the. They were aware about Wilcox Ranch. Okay, so you got now. Here's another one, 5/30/15. Okay, there's a few checks written. Okay, one's for $600 to Rochelle, the wife of the equipment operator. Okay, I still want to see their business license. I don't know why she's getting the checks. Okay, there's a $600 one to her, and there's a $600 one to the Natalie, which what they were saying is it's $100. They told us it was $100 for them an hour and $100 for the equipment operator.
No, 50 each.
Okay, so that would mean 12. Let's see, 12 hours worth of work. Okay, but both the checks don't have anything reference to it. No hour, meter, nothing. And it's funny. A lot of these ones are written to Rochelle. They never signed the back of the checks. Okay, the other one's got an endorsement on it. Okay, a bunch of deposits in there. Here's another one, 6/30/15. Okay, there's some checks written here, about 3 checks. Again, Rochelle, 350, no accounting. Natalie, 350, no accounting. David Brown, 475, no accounting. I don't know who that is.
Who's that?
I don't know. That one we'll have to find out. Here's the next one. 7/3.
You know, for all we know, that could have been someone in association with their other business. What was it? Ran Machine?
Rand Performance.
Rand Performance.
Well, look at this here. Here's another one. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 checks. Again, Rochelle, $750, no reference. Rochelle, $650, no reference. Rochelle, $775, no reference. Rochelle, $200, no reference. I mean, what's going on that they're writing all the checks to her?
All in a month?
Yeah, this is 7/31/15. Okay.
And this is that they were all in 1 month?
Yeah, now this is a statement to somebody that got a late charge for not paying the bills, and looks like they paid it. They did this to us too. There was a late charge for $10 back then on one of the property owners. Okay, so here's another one. Here's another one. Okay, is it the same one? Statement. Okay, so they did pay the late charge. See, what this is they knew about the declaration of reservations had expired in 2001. Okay, and there's multiple letters in there, or multiple emails with all the officers. The former president, secretary, treasurer, they knew that the thing was expired. The attorneys knew it was expired. We have all the evidence of it. It's all in writing. The couple other former presidents, Herbie and Brian, that were presidents. This is before me. They knew that it was expired. I have the emails. They're all talking about it. The former vice president knew that it was expired. Okay, and then they kept running this thing and leaning and assessing and sending the bills out like it was all legit. And the attorneys, Kern and Associates, they acknowledged it also. They had copies of it, and she told them that they had it. And there's even communication with the vice president in there that we may not have anything that gives us authority to work on the road. And that's apparently the time when they started attacking you and made the representations that they could do all this. And they knew they were expired. So it looks to me they've been running this thing for 15 years with the expired declaration of reservations. And then
fraud. Well,
then they go and vote a perpetuity in and get all this stuff and make the association in a perpetuity under a fraudulent ballot fraud vote, okay, saying that you voted for it. And that doesn't really matter. We know that because it was still good till 2030 for 50 years. But they went and did this. So where's the Declaration of Reservations update? And then even so, after they did that, they continued to lien and quiet title and assess people the fees through an attorney who this is their business. They're trained in this stuff. And so when they sold us the title, we never got all that information. They just kept running it. Then they decide one day it doesn't exist. Okay, here's another one. This one's got another check. Another one to Rochelle, $625, no accounting. That's the only check written there. So you're giving her $625. Well, I mean, what were they using their own equipment? What were they doing there with that one? Were they working on it? Were they working on their equipment? Were they, if they were renting a grader, they didn't have their own equipment. They were driving the Narings grader.
And I'd also like to add, you got to get a visual picture of this grader. It's a 1959, barely able to make it to the end of the road and back, and I lived directly next door to them during that time, and I saw it every time that grader left.
Okay, here's another one. Here's another late fee charge representation back in August 1st, 2010. So they paid it. Okay, here's another one. Please remit, late charge. This one had a $550 fee to somebody here. And then now here's a lien with certified mail, notice of delinquent assessment to somebody, $550. So, they knew that this thing was expired. And so you want to come off and and say all this stuff. Well, you know, these people are all damaged. They just don't know it because most of them don't know what was going on. They're talking about Article 6 and the President Treasurer sending this to the mail, representing that they have the authority. They're late charging everybody. Like I said, I got a late charge. You knew these were expired, so don't tell me it was voluntary. That's what they're trying to say now. It's voluntary. And you vote a perpetuity in. The attorney knows the declarations were expired from 2001, but they kept doing it. Okay, here's another one. Here's another one. It's certified mail. Another 3 late charges. Total due $430. Same thing. Okay, these things are going to have to be picked apart because this is going to take a while. Okay, here's another one. Here's a return receipt through the mail. Please remit by July 31st, or we'll have to enforce the provisions of Article 6. Okay, and there's the signatures right there. All right, there's one. There's the mail and everything. Here's another one. This is on 10/15. See the checks? Again, Rochelle, $300. She's only check written here. I don't know what they're doing for that. Okay, here's a late charge of someone else right here, another person. 110 statement. Here's a delinquent assessment. Certified mail to this person on October 2015. We'll have to enforce the provisions. Now, you know, they already knew this thing. They didn't. I don't know whether they had the authority or not. You know, because of the Declaration of Reservations, but it's the same thing over and over again.
If they're saying it's not valid now because of that, then it wasn't valid.
Well, I don't think we have all the records because the attorney, Gail Kern, knew about this. And they're doing all this stuff. It's all over. All these people are damaged back there, these titles. It's just over and over again. Okay, here's another one.
That's fraudulent representation.
Yeah, it's fraudulent concealment. You can't do this. Here's another bank thing. Oh, okay. Here's a recorded document. Recorded at the county. Release a lien. Release a lien. This is the original filing. I have the original filing here with the wet signatures on it. Recorded at Washoe County Recorder on 11/5/15. They recorded this on somebody's property, and I'm not going to name them, but they recorded it on here. It's our original document there, original wet ink, original notary with the wet ink on that by the former Secretary Treasurer. Wet ink, I have it right here. Here's a certified, here's another original one, Wilcox Ranch, document filed at the county. Here's the certifieds, late charges and everything, and they paid it $300 that they went on there for whatever. And then here's another original wet ink with original wet ink notary on it that they did this on this. And here's the letter where they were threatening with the enforce, okay, these people on a thing. It's just over and over again. So that's the evidence. We have the original document. Shoot, here's another one. Here's another. I got the sticker and everything. Release a lien. Original wet ink on this. I mean, I'm barely going through this new box here, and you know, there's so much stuff to go through. It needs to be a forensic audit accountant on this, because here's another